Okay, right. Hello and welcome, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome back to our British Institute for Libyan and Northern African Studies online lecture series. So today I am really very pleased to introduce our three speakers that we have today, Ahmed Mahmoud, Muftah Alhaddad, and Ahmed Buzaian. Um, so our first speaker, Dr. Ahmed Mahmoud, holds a PhD in remote sensing and GIS from the University of Nottingham, and he is now a research associate in African heritage and geospatial data science with the Mapping Africa's Endangered Archaeological Sites and Monuments project based at the University of Cambridge. And he's working with them on the development of a digital heritage monitoring framework for Africa. From 2022 until 2026, Ahmed also worked for the Endangered Archaeology in the Middle East and North Africa, or EAMENA project, at the University of Leicester, where he led the development of EAMENA's machine learning automated change detection tool, which we are going to hear a little bit about today, which is designed to automate the detection and monitoring of threats to heritage sites across the region. Our second speaker, Professor Muftah Alhaddad, is Professor of Archaeology and Ancient History at Zaytuna University in Libya. Following a degree at the University of Benghazi, he began his career in the Department of Antiquities of Libya, participating in numerous excavations and surveys, particularly in the region around Leptis Magna, as well as in the Libyan Sahara. Muftah completed his PhD at the University of Leicester in 2010, and when he returned to Libya, he became the first director of the Documentation and Digitalization of Cultural Heritage Center from 2012 to 2015, which focused on preserving Libya's archaeological records. Since 2014, Muftah has collaborated in particular with Durham University on a number of training programs for Libyan archaeologists, and he's led several field surveys, notably in the Jebel Nafusa. He's also participated on a number of different international heritage initiatives funded by the British Council. Finally, we have Dr. Ahmed Buzaian, who holds a PhD in archaeology from the University of Leicester, and before coming to the UK, he was a full-time lecturer in classical archaeology at Benghazi University. More recently, he has served as training manager for EAMENA's Cultural Protection Fund work in Libya, which was to support capacity building and the protection of endangered cultural heritage. Ahmed has extensive field experience and has directed and co-directed several significant archaeological projects in Libya, including training excavations at the ancient city of Tokra, directing fieldwork at Balagrai, and co-directed the Anglo-Libyan excavations at Eusperides. So today they are going to tell us about some of their recent work with the EAMENA project, which those who know me will also know that that is the project that I work for. So it has been my great pleasure to work with all of them in one form or another over the past several years as well. And so I'm very delighted to introduce their talk, Scaling Up Heritage Monitoring in Libya, Fieldwork, Remote Sensing, and Training. So I will hand over to Ahmed Mahmoud now to get us started. Oh, and just before we start, sorry, please remember that if you do have questions for our speakers, do pop them into the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and we will go through them at the end of the talk. Okay, Ahmed.
Right. Thank you very much, Nicole, and thank you for the invitation. So today we're gonna be talking about the machine learning automated change detection tool and how we used it to scale up heritage monitoring in Libya. So this work was done as part of the EAMENA project, which is funded by the Arcadia and the British Council Cultural Protection Fund. So monitoring archaeological sites can be both challenging and resource intensive, particularly when it comes to monitoring sites in remote and inaccessible areas such as deserts and conflict zones, for example, and also in areas that are impacted by natural hazards such as floods and earthquakes. So to monitor these sites effectively, we have identified 4 key factors that we need to take into consideration or account when it comes to effective monitoring. And these are, has a change been observed in these heritage sites or within the vicinity of archaeological sites? What type of change or threat has been documented? When did this change or threat happen? And is this threat still ongoing? And this is actually where the remote sensing plays a crucial role, especially in addressing these questions, as it enables us to do large-scale analysis, rapid and repeatable detection of monitoring threats in various environments and landscape. So today we're going to discuss and also demonstrate how we use the machine learning automated change detection tool, which is, as Nicole said, it's a tool that is a geospatial tool that is developed to rapidly identify disturbances and threats to heritage sites. So the EAMENA machine learning automated change detection tool is developed in Google Earth Engine, which is a cloud computing service that allows for the analysis of access to large amount of satellite data, but also it allows the processing and analysis of these satellite data. The machine learning automated change detection tool is developed as an automated tool. So that means we develop bespoke scripts that can also be adapted and tailored for new case studies. But there are main data inputs that are needed to for this tool to function, and these includes the Sentinel, the satellite images, and basically the tool analyzes and uses Sentinel-2 images, which are optical imagery with 10-meter spatial resolution. Also, we need to define heritage sites, area of investigation, and also training sample data sets. And these training sample data sets are actually needed for the machine learning algorithm or to train the model that produces classification maps of the Sentinel-2 images. And the idea of the tool is that it leverages these free available satellite imagery and also the high performance computing capabilities of Google Earth Engine. And it compares sequential images to detect and determine areas of changes and also identify where, when, and what type of change have occurred within the vicinity of these known archaeological sites. One of the outcomes that we get automatically are actually land cover classification maps, and which we use it to produce these change detection maps, and that can also lead into providing statistics about archaeological sites that are under specific threats and changes. And I'm going to kind of show you a quick demonstration of how we use the tool. So the tool is developed with a user interface so that it allows heritage professionals with limited programming skills to also leverage the, as I said, the capabilities of the remote sensing technique. There, as you can see from the video here, is that there is a very large number of script. It's a long one, but there is no the only interaction with the script is actually these training sample, defining these training samples, which will vary from a case study to another. And in this case, this is one of our case studies in Libya, which is Alhaddad. So there are several steps and stages for executing the analysis. we need to define a start date and end date of the study period to basically allow us to access the Sentinel-2 images within the time frame that we defined. And also, the tool allows us to define a buffer, and then it allows us to also select, as you can see, allows us to select some of two specific images that we want to apply the chain detection between them, so that we can know what type of threats or changes that occurred in our heritage sites. So once we do that, we get different type of, automatically we get different type of results. These are actually can be viewed in the layers tab. As you can see, this includes the satellite images, the two selected satellite images, and it also, as you can see it here, second and first image, where you can do quick comparison between the two images to see whether you can detect some visually, you can detect some changes in the sites. And in this case, there was some urban expansion happening in this area in Libya. The tool also automatically generates some classification maps for these two selected images, which we can later on use to also do further comparisons to, as I said, to understand the type of threats and in this case areas that, for example, that change from bare soil to urban, or areas that change from bare soil to vegetation. And this is also here on the video. You can see that there are also one of the results and outputs that we get are these aerial land cover classification time series, where it shows us the expansion of a specific type of land cover within the time frame that we define. The seventh step, which is, I guess this is the important one, is to define and do the analysis of the chain detection. So it automatically allows you to do further analysis in terms of, as I said, for example, if we are interested in seeing areas, urbanization, so areas that change from bare to urban, then we can select that here, and then we can do further analysis, and we get different type of results that include some statistical data, and we also get some data that are basically some layers that we see within the within the map itself. So we can use it to further do further analysis in on the ground if we want, basically showing us the locations for these sites impacted by this specific threat. So you can do further analysis as well. There are the last thing is that you can export some of these data, as I said, to do further analysis in on the ground or in, for example, other GIS software as well. Right. So the EAMENA machine learning automated chain detection tool is open access tool, and it's also provided with training documentation to allow users to be able to and guide them step by step to facilitate the use of the tool. And it can be, it's available on the EAMENA GitHub repository. That you can just scan this QR code, and then it will take you to the EAMENA GitHub repository. We've also developed and recorded training videos, which you can also view on the EAMENA project YouTube channel as well. So as part of the Cultural Protection Fund, the EAMENA Leicester team has developed a strong partnership with the Department of Antiquities in Libya, where we trained over 20 heretic professionals from the Department of Antiquities from multiple antiquity offices on how to use the tool and how to adapt the machine learning ACD tool to different areas as well in Libya. Each training program was followed by a field survey to document threats and also on the ground, and also to validate the machine learning ACD results. We received really good feedback from participants where it actually helped us to improve both the technical and practical aspects of the machine learning ACD tool. Before I pass to the microphone to my colleague Ahmed, these are the 4 case studies where we work with the Department of Antiquities. We worked in Laf'akat, in Beni Walid, and in South Derna and Derma. And I'm going to pass over to Ahmed Buzaian to tell us about the Laf'akat field survey and the findings of the field survey. Thank you. Ahmed, over to you.
Thank you, Ahmed. I just want to, at the beginning, to reiterate our thanks to Bennas for the kind invitation for this presentation. It's about the scaling up heritage monitoring in Libya. As mentioned, each training program was followed by a dedicated field survey to document threats and disturbances affecting heritage sites, while also validating the results of the EAMENA machine learning methodology. In recent decades, cultural heritage across Libya, including Benghazi, has faced increasing threats from conflict, urban and agriculture expansion, looting, and climate change. These risks have worsened since 2011, with events like Storm Daniel in 2023, further exposing the growing impact of extreme weather on archaeological sites. The Laf'akat case study region was situated within the Benghazi coastal plain, approximately 15 kilometers south of Benghazi city, covering an area of 219 square kilometers. The heritage of Laf'akat region is under direct threat from a number of issues, the most pressing of which is the rising population and urbanization of Benghazi, which is rapidly expanding to the south. Next slide, please. The Laf'akat field survey conducted in February 2024 by 4 Libyan Department of Antiquities professionals led by Nasser Al-Harari and Hani Hassan assessed site conditions, validated EAMENA machine learning ACD results, and collected ground truth data. Of 39 initially identified sites, 6 were either misidentified or unlocated, and the 3 were inaccessible, leaving 3 sites for validation and comparison. Methodology: the field survey team used standardized recording sheet to document each site, noting topography, surface visibility, site interpretation, condition, disturbances, and potential threats, alongside the machine learning ACD results for comparison and validation. Photographs were taken to capture individual site condition and location, while disturbances were documented and geolocated using handheld GPS units. Following the survey, all data were compiled into a digital format for further depositing into the EAMENA database. Given the rapid nature of the survey, no formal sampling or pottery collection was undertaken, though surface materials were quickly assessed where possible to assign approximate dates. Next slide, please. 5 principal types of ancient sites and settlements were identified within the Lafakat case study area. In addition, 3 categories of later period features, shelter, historic building, and marabut, were recorded, some of which were located on or reused the same sites as earlier ancient remains. This pattern highlights the long-term continuity of occupation and the adaptive reuse of these landscapes over time. Many of the settlements appear to have remained in use into the late antique period, a phase that corresponds with the spread of Christianity across the region. The survey also identified evidence for continued, though more limited, activity during the Islamic period. For example, fragments of early Islamic glazed pottery were documented at sites such as Sirat Abdul Mawla, indicating ongoing occupation or reuse. The survey further documented a number of historic structures dating to the Ottoman and Italian colonial periods, adding another layer of the area's complex occupational history. In addition, 4 sites were found to include Marabut's shrine dedicated to local holy men, likely dating to the medieval period, typically situated within or adjacent to the ruins of ancient rural settlements. These shrines benefited from the readily available building materials. Although 3 of the marabuts had been destroyed more than a decade ago, their former presence could be confirmed through analysis of historic satellite imagery, underscoring the value of remote sensing in reconstructing recent site histories. Next slide, please. Condition assessment and threats. The field survey in Lafakat included a systematic assessment of the condition of each recorded site, with particular attention given to visible disturbances and potential threats affecting their preservation. This on-the-ground evaluation was closely integrated with the earlier machine learning ACD analysis, which had already identified areas of concern by detecting land use changes between February 2019 and January 2024. Notably, location that had shifted from bare soil to either urban or vegetation classes were flagged as high-risk zones. These transitions point to ongoing construction activity and agricultural expansion, both of which pose significant and often irreversible threats to archaeological remains through ground disturbance, material removal, and landscape transformation. The fieldwork served to verify and refine these remote sensing observations, providing detailed insight into the nature, extent, and urgency of these threats. In many cases, the survey confirmed active encroachment, including land clearance, building development, and cultivation, all directly impacting or encircling archaeological sites. Overall site condition: a total of 30 sites were visited during the survey, and the overall state of preservation was found to be of concern. None of the sites could be classified as being in good condition, underscoring the widespread risk to the area's cultural heritage. 7 sites were assessed as being in fair condition, exhibiting only minor deterioration and relatively limited disturbance. The majority, however, were in a more critical state. 18 sites were recorded as being in poor condition, showing clear signs of moderate degradation, such as structural collapse, erosion, or partial damage from human activity. More alarmingly, 3 sites were classified as being in very bad condition, reflecting severe and extensive deterioration that has significantly compromised their integrity and research value. In addition, 2 sites were found to be completely destroyed, indicating a total loss of archaeological features. Taken together, these findings highlight an urgent need for targeted monitoring and mitigation strategies, as well as the importance of integrating remote sensing with field-based assessment to better understand and respond to ongoing threats. Next slide, please. Primary disturbance observed: construction and urbanization. Urban encroachment was observed at 23 sites, reflecting rapid expansion south of Benghazi, with unregulated housing and infrastructure development, particularly post-2011, causing significant damage, including the complete destruction of 2 sites due to 2009 government housing project, ongoing bulldozing, and the presence of construction materials, such as concrete blocks and gravel, were documented at 13 sites, while vegetation and agriculture encroachment affected 20 sites, with trees and crops within site boundaries threatening both structural integrity and visibility. Animal enclosures and reuse: 14 sites were repurposed as livestock enclosures, with ancient stones frequently reused in the construction of livestock enclosures, particularly near modern settlements where grazing is available. Rubbish dumping, documented at 14 sites, driven by urban expansion and poor waste management. Dumping threatens both the environment and site preservation. Bulldozing and land clearance. Heavy bulldozing for development affected 13 sites, clearing land and altering site context. Other disturbances: looting, graffiti, burning, small-scale dumping, and reoccupation of ancient sites were observed, but not always detected through machine learning ACD or remote sensing. Site destruction. Following the 2011 revolution of the 4 marabouts Islamic shrines originally recorded in Lefhakat, they were completely destroyed, while only 1 remains intact. These were deliberately destroyed by Salafi groups, resulting in the impacting of any underlying ancient sites. Next slide, please. Machine learning ACD validation and fieldwork comparison. Both the EAMENA machine learning ACD analysis and field survey identified multiple threats to archaeological sites in Lefhakat. A key aim of the fieldwork was to validate machine learning results and assess the accuracy of the remote sensing approach. Comparing these results with field observations helps refine interpretations and improve the machine learning ACD script. The machine learning ACD analysis primarily detected changes associated with construction activities and vegetation growth. These disturbances were largely corroborated by the fieldwork, which also provided additional documentation and identified further threats not captured by the machine learning ACD. These included bulldozing, looting, and the adaptive reuse of archaeological structures as animal enclosures. The machine learning ACD identified a transition from bare to urban land use within a 100 buffer zone, surrounding all 30 sites, all 30 heritage sites in Lef'akat during the study period from February 2019 to January 2024. In contrast, fieldwork observations recorded construction-related impacts at only 23 sites. In a similar manner, the machine learning ACD detected a transition from bare soil to vegetation at 22 sites. However, field survey confirmed vegetation growth at only 15 of these locations, and additionally identified 5 affected sites representing false negatives that had not been detected by the machine learning ACD. These discrepancies between remote sensing outputs and field observations may be attributed to 2 principal factors. First, the 100-meter buffer zone employed in the machine learning analysis, ACD analysis encompasses a relatively extensive area, whereas field survey and documentation frequently focus on the core extent of each site. This limitation may be partially mitigated through the integration of high-resolution satellite imagery to support supplementary validation. A second sort of discrepancy is misclassification, resulting in both false positives and negatives. Seasonal variation can influence results, with areas appearing bare in summer but vegetated in winter, while shadows may be misidentified as vegetation. In addition, the 10-meter resolution of Sentinel-2 imagery introduces limitations. Pixels often contain mixed features, and the classification is assigned to the dominant signal. This mixed pixel effect can obscure smaller features and lead to false negatives. Overall, the comparison highlights the need to integrate remote sensing with systematic field validation. While machine learning ACD effectively detects broad patterns of landscape change, fieldwork is essential for identifying finer scale disturbances and ensuring accurate interpretation. Together, they provide a more comprehensive framework for assessing threats and strengthening heritage management strategies. I will now hand over to Muftah, who will talk about fieldwork and Ben Walid, and then conclude the presentation.
Muftah, you are muted.
Muftah.
I think we have lost Muftah. We can give him a second to try and log back on, but
yeah, let's try and do that. Yeah.
okay.
Hello.
Hi, Muftah.
Hi, sorry I lost the connection with the webinar.
That's
Sorry.
okay, no problem.
It's reloaded. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for the Pilnas for inviting me to talk to you today about this collaborative project. When we talk about scaling up, we are not merely referring to increasing the quantity of what we already do. Instead, we are merging machine learning with local expertise, transitioning from passive observation to active technology-driven monitoring that can keep up with rapid anthropogenic changes. I will focus here on a very important pre-desert heritage management in Libya, the Wadi Ben Walid. As you can see in the map, the Wadi Ben Walid is located in the southeast slope of the Jabal Gharia. The map shows it is positioned within the interior pre-desert region south of the Mediterranean coast, and it has a connection to major coastal and inland centers. Next slide, please. The Wadi Ben Walid passes through the Wadi Garjuma and meets the Wadi Dinar and the Wadi Tamasla, together forming the Wadi Mardu. This continues to run south and southeast until it meets the main course of the Wadi Sovaji, 45 kilometers from its mouth at the Subh al-Tawra. Next, please. Generally speaking, as a result of the training program, a second phase of the project involved carrying out field work to document changes in archaeological sites located in the Wadi Ben Walid. This phase was carried out in February 2024 by a team from the Department of Antiquities under the leadership of the speaker. We would like to thank the tourist police officers in Ben Walid who accompanied us every day throughout the field survey and ensured the success of our mission. Next, please. Next slide, please. The field survey team. The field survey team employed the same mentioned documentation form provided by the EAMENA MLACD team to record the relevant information. So we applied the same form that Ahmed Buzaian talked about in the field survey. Next, please. Next slide, please. The transition from the lab to the field is where many projects fail. To solve this, next slide, please. Do you hear me? No.
Yes, Muftah. Yeah, sorry.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Muftah.
The transition from the lab to the field.
I'm afraid we've lost Muftah again. He's back. Can you see the presentation, Muftah?
Yes, yes, I can see. Please, the previous one, the previous slide.
The Q-Fields one.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we used the mobile GIS applications. We used for shots as QField to transfer our QGIS database directly to the team's smartphones, facilitating navigation and real-time data entry. To ensure spatial accuracy, the team used the SW Maps app, which enabled us to document geometric data and take geotagged photos of disturbances. This process guaranteed that each remote detection was confirmed through physical observation, thus increasing the reliability of our MLACD models. Next slide, please. The field survey team successfully conducted visits to 157 out of 215 designated sites. In reality, several factors contributed to the failure to access all sites. Firstly, today many sites are located within modern buildings and fences. Secondly, some sites had been entirely wiped away and replaced by modern houses and other structures. Additionally, several sites were recorded in EAMENA database more than once. Lastly, open physical inspection, several sites remotely catalogued as archaeological sites in the EAMENA database were in fact natural rock formations. Next slide, please. The vast majority of surveyed archaeological sites are located on rocky outcrops overlooking the wadi. The area is distinguished by a concentration of late antiquity Qasr, medieval and early modern periods of village-like settlements along the wadi. Some of these settlements were still occupied until the early 1980s. As you can see in the map, the northern side of the wadi hosts the largest number of sites, where about 70% of sites is located in this side of the wadi. Next, please. The surveyed sites give us fascinating glimpse into the region's history. By analyzing the types of sites, we gain valuable insights into how different archaeological features are distributed and their importance in the area. For example, the high number of Qasr types suggests a strong emphasis on protection, security, and well-organized and structured society. The archaeological site of the village of Bintilis on the right side of the slide is considered one of the most important and largest archaeological sites of the settlement village type. And it is also can be the most preserved and protected site in the entire Wadi Benuli. Next slide, please. Failed survey results from the Wadi Benuli reveal that most of sites are in poor, very bad, or destroyed condition, while the most common disturbances are bulldozer activity, urban sprawl, brush dumping, and agricultural encroachment, indicating severe and continuing threats to site preservation. The chart of disturbances quantifies the various types of modern threats affecting archaeological sites within the survey area. It tracks 6 primary categories of disturbances. It tracks 5 primary categories of disturbance across the total number of recorded sites. The second chart categorizes the physical integrity of the surveyed site. The surveyed site is based on the percentage of visible destruction, ranking from good to destroyed. Next slide, please. There is a direct correlation between the high frequency of bulldozer and urban disturbances and the high volume of sites in poor or to destroyed condition. The data highlights that without immediate intervention, the continuing impact of urban sprawl and land clearing will likely change over the remaining fair sites into the destroyed category within a short time frame. The top of this slide shows archaeological sites threatened by bulldozer activity and urbanization, while below you can see how the field team used mobile apps to document such threats. Here we see the spatial location of geotagged photo. The selection of the displayed photo appears in yellow in this slide. Next slide, please. Here the same, the disturbances of agriculture on the left top, or rubbish dumping and looting in the top right. The same here, these disturbances caused by these changes or impacts, such as rubbish dumping and looting, which cannot be detected by the resolution of free satellite images. As a result, these disturbances were only documented by the field survey and were not identified by the EAMENA machine learning automated change detection tool. Next slide, please. In conclusion, the Al-Fakat and Benulid case study areas, rapid population growth has driven extensive urban expansion, emerging as the region's most critical threat to heritage sites. Poor urban planning and weak enforcement have allowed uncontrolled development, severely affecting archaeological sites, with some historic settlements entirely demolished for residential projects. Both MLACD and field survey confirm these impacts, highlighting the weaknesses of cultural heritage in rapidly urbanizing areas lacking structural preservation frameworks. This case underscores the value of combining technological tools like machine learning automated change detection with the fieldwork surveys. Remote sensing and historical imagery allow retrospective documentation of sites already destroyed, while machine learning automated change detection effectively detects changes from urban expansion and vegetation growth over time. The EAMENA machine learning automated change detection method provides rapid, timely monitoring of heritage traits, but field verification remains crucial for capturing disturbances not visible through remote sensing. Integrating machine learning automated change detection with field assessment offers a comprehensive approach to safeguarding Libya's cultural heritage, providing insights into land use and environmental change while enabling remote monitoring of vulnerable sites. This combined methodology is particularly critical in such mentioned area, where urbanization and other human activity continue to pose significant risks. Thank you for your attention. I offer to Ahmed to.
Thank you very much, Muftah. We pass over to Nicole.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you, all three of you, Ahmed, and Muftah. That was really great, extremely comprehensive, and it's really great to see kind of the whole process through from the development of the remote sensing method through to the application and the field work and the verification. So it's really wonderful to see these things put into practice. Okay, so I'll open up the floor to questions, and I can see we've already got a couple questions in the Q&A box. We have two questions, in fact, from John Salib. So the first one that he's asked is, what is the similarity or variance in the methodology and scope of your research group with those of Chieti University and the Libyan Department of Antiquities, for example? And he mentions the 2016 article, which was in Libyan Studies at GIS of the Kora of Cyrene.
To be honest, I'm not aware of that one, but Ahmed, if you.
Yeah, I know this. I know this article, and I believe I referred to this article many times. Yeah, so it is Liva Minozzi and her team, it's a KT team. Yeah, unfortunately, we haven't any connection with the Chieti work in around the Cyrene, the countryside around Cyrene. but really we largely benefited from her work in our, although it's a slightly different. I mean the application that he used by EAMENA, and the other one is used by in KT survey south of Cyrenaica.
Yeah, thanks, Ahmed. Yes, if I might just also add to that, I believe at the time, Ahmed, you'll know better than me, but I do recall this article as well. And of course, at that time, they weren't using the machine learning yet. They were using some remote sensing techniques, yes, to do very similar things around Cyrene. But of course, the new technique that Ahmed Mahmoud introduced at the beginning of the talk now incorporates these machine learning methods to automatically detect change in these landscapes. Yes, and then a second question from John, who adds it's a very interesting presentation. I think he would just like to know what is a marabou in Beni Walid? Just if someone could clarify what that is.
Sorry.
Marabut. Ahmed, would you like to say something? Or Muftah? Marabut is
Yeah.
like a shrink or a shrine.
Yes, like shrine with a small building has they respect people respect this place, use it to be respected. But after 2011, I think the vast majority of these marabut sites in Beni Walid exploded and destroyed completely by Salafis group.
You are muted, Ahmed.
Yeah, just to add, to Muftah's, it is these marabouts. It's in the old times. It's very recently the people they used to visit these sites, the holy men, and they believe they have the power to cure people from health or mental issues. That's why the Salafi, they are against these thoughts. So they believe this is nothing to do in Islam. So they start that's why they start demolishing these marabouts.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, that's very useful, very helpful clarification. Next question we have from Tom Millen, who says, "Wonderful work. Thank you very much for presenting. Are you happy with the accuracy of the machine learning tool? And would this be applicable at a larger or whole country scale without field work? Would the bottleneck be ground truthing? Also, how do you increase accuracy, or is 10-meter resolution the best possible?"
I think I can answer that one. So in terms of the accuracy of the Sentinel-2, as you said, like it's a 10-meter spatial resolution, and that actually generates some of the misclassification that Ahmed mentioned before in terms of the identification of land cover, misidentification of land cover types, and that will again will actually impact the statistics of the sites or the threats that are impacting specific sites. So you can apply the MLACD for country analysis or like for even global analysis, but then again, you will face some challenges in, for example, because it's actually developed in Google Earth Engine, and now Google actually they are introducing new policies to the non-commercial use, and they are limiting the usage actually of the free usage access. So that means you will either need to purchase some you need to purchase some cloud computing hours, they call it. So, but again, in terms of the functionality of the tool, it works. In terms of the script, it works, but you will face some challenges in terms of the cloud computing availability. And I can't recall the third question if if I asked most of them,
Um,
Nicole.
I think that was, yeah, asking how do you increase the accuracy. He was asking, would it be applicable at a larger whole country scale without field work,
Yeah.
or is the bottleneck ground truthing?
Yeah, I think like also about increasing the accuracy. So the tool now also allows you to also upload your either high resolution satellite images and do the comparison between them, but it also allows you to, for example, if you have some drone images that you want to upload and then you want to do the change detection comparison between them, you can also do that as well. So I think that in terms of and definitely if you use high resolution satellite images, that will improve the accuracy of the detection.
Yes, yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yes, I think the thing to say, of course, is that the higher resolution imagery. I can't remember if you said this exactly, but of course, the Sentinel-2 imagery is free, is the issue, and higher resolution imagery isn't always free. So that's kind of the main
Yeah.
one of the main things with increasing that. But yes, if you have access to it, then yeah, you can feed that into the method. Yes, do we have any other questions? I was going to ask whether, oh, actually we have one here. I will read that one instead. From Sadine Al-Kish. What steps have been taken after discovering that some sites have been damaged? Is there a communication channel with the Libyan Department of Antiquities or the tourism police to document these incidents and prevent them from happening in the future?
I think Muftah can answer that.
Yeah. Well, of course, when we were doing the field survey, we are combined by the archaeologists, local archaeologists from the area where we do the survey. So they join in us and they document what we surveyed, if any destroyed sites or any site is affected by any disturbances. So they put this in their consideration and write this in their report, which of course they will manage later. What will they do and communicate with the tourist police office in the area. Every day we are combined by the tourist police office when we do the surveys in Benulid or in other areas. So they saw what is going in the ground when we move, documenting these sites or any damage we found in the ground. I think this need to communication between different sectors like police, tourist police, or the local archaeological office in the Benulid, for example, and the head of the Department of Antiquities to manage together to put the plan for further steps to protect these sites.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Muftah. So the question I was going to ask actually is also sort of for you, Muftah. Obviously, so during the presentation, you sort of spoke about the Lafaka and Beni Walid case studies. I was just wondering whether you had maybe a brief summary as well, anything to say about how the situation in Fazzan, because you also did some field work there for the EAMENA project, and just very quickly how that kind of compares to what you saw in Beni Walid. Just what perhaps people just might like to hear about what the situation is like there as well, if you'd like to say a few words about that.
Right. So in Fazzan in German, the area around, I think, and in Ben Walid, a little bit they are different from Levakat, I think, because these two areas already discovered and surveyed. For example, Ben Walid during the UNESCO Libyan Valley survey during the 1918s, and Germa until I think recently in this century by Professor David Mattingly project, desert immigration project and other projects. So we have a lot of information and spatial data or other details like descriptive data about the sites and things. For Germa and Wadi Lajal, where we did last year and our survey there, I think the distribution of sites quite different because in Germa they distributed in larger area than Wadi Ben Walid, where archaeological sites in Ben Walid concentrated in this about 20 kilometers more or less of the Wadi in both sites, and has it changes a lot during time by the expansion of urbanization and other modern construction. While in Germa, in Wadi Lajal, most of the sites still as recorded during the desert migration project in early 20,000, between 20,000 and 7 and 20,011.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Muftah. That's really really helpful. Right. If there are no further questions, really it just remains for me to thank Ahmed, and Muftah for a great talk. And just before we wrap up, I just like to everyone know that our next online lecture will be on Thursday, May the 14th, and we're going to have Dr. Danielle McLean from Oxford to tell us about her work using volcanic ash layers to link archaeological and climate records in Northwest Africa. Now, also just to say, if you enjoyed our lecture tonight and you are not already, please do consider joining or donating to Billness at our website, billness.org, so that we can continue to put on events like these and highlight the great work that's being done in Libya and North Africa. And so finally, just remains for me again to thank our speakers very much for this wonderful talk, and thank you all for coming. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you very much, Nicole. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.